What is up, guys? Welcome back to another GeoGuessr video. Today I'm going to be reviewing my group predictions and looking at the final day and predicting the final game tournament bracket and then as well as the last chance games here. So looking back on it, I was kind of cooking the start of Group A. Predicted every match correct. Didn't get the score right on some of them, but we did correctly predict Consus in first, Finbar in second, Solak in third, and Alak in fourth. So I will take that one to be a success. Group B, however, is where some things went wrong. We picked the first two right, and then the Ricky Beast prediction went a bit unfortunate, I would say. Such a weird game. There was definitely a lot of controversy in my mind with that one, but didn't go our way. And then we got the Debre 2-0 and Topodic 2-0, and Debre got the win in the last game of Group B as well. So we did predict Debre first correctly, but we didn't get second, third, or fourth. As we know, Topodic came in second in the group, so he will be going to the World Cup, and Armani is in the last chance game against Zalek tomorrow, and Ricky Beast got fourth. But I do feel bad for the lad. He had a tough series of games, and I think after all of this stuff goes against you in the group, it's really hard to recover from. And then I'm recording this on Saturday, April 13th. So the Group C games just finished up. We were able to predict the first four spot on. Crooks with a 2-1 to start, Blinky with a 2-0, Kodiak with a 2-0, and then Blinky with a 2-0. And then we move into the game that really messed me up. I didn't actually get to witness this game, but I heard that Wolf Trucker made a great comeback there to get the 2-1. So huge one for him. And Blinky to get the win here. Unfortunately, it was a 2-0. So we did predict Blinky to be first, as expected, in my mind. But Crooks ended up getting third, Kodiak in second, and then Wolf Trucker in fourth. So I actually did get this Wolf Trucker one right, incorrectly marked. All right, and then Group D is kind of where it just fell apart completely. Mata, I predicted you to go last, lad, but you've earned my respect. Getting first in the group with a 5-game difference absolutely popped off. There's nothing much to say. 2-0'd Kratzo here, 2-0'd Lenley here. I mean, just an absolute showing from the lad. So the only one that we were able to predict right was the Lenley win, and it wasn't even in a 2-1 fashion, it was in a 2-0 fashion against Gelotris. So the group was definitely shifted, and I did say Group B and Group D are probably the most volatile there. So Mata actually ended up getting first there, Kratzo second, Lenley third in the last chance game tomorrow against Crooks, and then Gelotris in fourth. And I have the bracket set up for the final day here, so I'm going to quickly go into these. Consus versus Topodic. I do think Consus had a great showing, to start off the tournament in Group A. Went 6-0. Absolutely just had no weaknesses, really. He was kind of just saucing on everyone. So, and then Topodic, on the other end, did play very well. I will say that. I think Debre, in the moving game, was kind of fortunate with some of his hedges, and, did end up pulling out the 2-0 there. But I think Topodic did definitely play well. But I'm going to have to take the world champ here to move on to the semis. All right, moving on to Debre versus Finbar. I think Debre definitely played well in some spots, but as previously mentioned, he did get a little bit fortunate on some of the rounds, like when he hedged in the middle of Lake Erie and also hedged in the middle of Lake Titicaca. I totally respect the hedges. Like, I love them. I love that he did that because he was playing it strategically well, but I do feel like that hedge could come back to bite him in the future. Finbar, obviously, second place in the group, did pretty well, I would say. Put up a fight against Consus, but unfortunately did get second there. So this is a really tough match for me to predict, but I will be taking Finbar to move on to the semis. I think Finbar definitely has some strengths, and we have been getting Russia pretty consistently, I think, throughout the tournament. The first day we were getting not as much Mexico, I would say, and today we got like a ton of Mexico, so it's definitely evening itself out in terms of like location distribution. And I think Russia has stayed consistent throughout it. Like we haven't been getting too many, so I think that should continue into day 3. But we'll see. That could just be, total waffle. Group C, our first place member Blinky here versus his fellow Frenchman in Karatzo. I think this could be an interesting match for sure. But I think, as I mentioned before, it's just Blinky revenge season. Like, he's going crazy, and I think his moving is just, like, I don't think anybody can really beat him in moving right now. He's looking insane. And I think he has the edge on Karatzo and no move, so I will probably take a Blinky here to move on to the semis. If I'm looking at scores here, I think I'm going to take a 2-0 here. Finbar gets the 2-1 here, and Blinky's going to get the 2-0. And then moving into our last match of the championship bracket, we got Mata versus Kodiak. I think this could be an interesting match because Mata had a great showing today. I didn't get a chance to watch all of Kodiak's matches, but he did play quite well from what I've seen from the results. But I think this could be closely contested if Mata continues his play from the end of Group D there. So I think this might be closer than some people think. And, I'm going to range towards an upset here. Let's go Mata. I have seen, actually, on the desk that they mentioned that Mata does not like playing NMPZ. He performed fine today, but I think he's definitely worried about that in that aspect. So I might have to switch that back up, and we'll take it to Kodiak 2-1 to take it if we do reach an NMPZ game. I believe these are best of 3, by the way. Maybe I'm just trolling and no, it's definitely best of 3. All right. Before I move on to the semis games, let's get into the last chance games. We got Salek versus Armani. I think Armani has more strengths in terms of no move and NMPZ, and I think Salek could take the moving game here. So, as tough as this is for me to predict, I think Armani just ends up reigning supreme here, and we'll take an Armani 2-1, and he's going to be advancing to the World Cup in my mind. Crooks versus Lenley, this is also an interesting matchup. I will say that. Crooks definitely excels at no move, as we've seen, and Lenley's moving today wasn't, like, the best, in my opinion, but he definitely put up a decent showing, I would say. But Mata just looked great against him, so not too much he could have done in that matchup. I think I'm going to take a Crooks 2-1, and we'll shake it up here, and we'll say Armani and Crooks move on to get our last chance spots at the World Cup for EMEA. All right, semis for the championship bracket, Consus versus Finbar. I think you guys see it coming. I think everybody does. Like, we're just going to have to put a Consus win here. And I will take it in a 2-0 fashion. His moving is just insane. And, yeah, I think he's just a well-rounded player in general. All right. And then, yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing there. But, I will be taking Blinky here in a 2-0 fashion. And this finals, Consus versus Blinky, both not dropping a single game in the tournament so far by my predictions. I'm going to take a Blinky here. I think Blinky's been grinding. I think he's ready. I think he's absolutely ready, and he wants some revenge. So I'm going to take a Blinky 2-0. Yep. That's right. Blinky doesn't drop an entire game for me in the entire tournament. And it's going to be a Blinky masterclass. And let's hope that prediction reigns true. These are my predictions for the final day and a quick review of my group's performance. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.